The peonies were a mistake. Their sickly sweet perfume filled the bridal shower venue, making my head spin with each breath. I should have known better. Flowers that beautiful always hide thorns. You okay, babe? Alex's hand settled on my lower back, warm and steady. You look a little pale. I forced a smile, leaning into his touch, just overwhelmed. Everything's so perfect. And it was, on the surface. The rustic barn venue draped in twinkling lights, champagne flowing freely. My closest friends and family gathered to celebrate our upcoming wedding. My best friend Abby had outdone herself planning this shower, down to the hand-calligraphed place cards and vintage crystal champagne flutes. You deserve perfect, Alex whispered, pressing a kiss to my temple. His cologne, the same one he'd worn on our first date, wrapped around me like a familiar blanket. I still can't believe you said yes. I watched him work the room, that easy charm that had first drawn me in now directed at our guests. My mother practically glowed every time he called her mom. And even my usually cynical sister Paige had fallen under his spell months ago. Earth to Daria. Abby appeared at my elbow, pressing another glass of champagne into my hand. Stop looking so serious. This is your party. Sorry, just taking it all in. I sipped the champagne, letting the bubbles dance on my tongue. Thank you for all of this. It's incredible. Anything for my best friend. She squeezed my arm, but something flickered across her face, so quick I almost missed it. Guilt? Worry? Before I could process it, she was already moving away, calling out to another guest. That's when I felt it. A presence at my shoulder, unfamiliar and heavy. I turned to find a man I'd never seen before, his expression grim despite the celebratory atmosphere. Congratulations, he said, but the word held no warmth. I'm Vince, old friend of Alex's. Something in his tone made my stomach clench. Thank you. I don't think Alex has mentioned. No, he wouldn't have. Vince's eyes tracked Alex across the room. Listen, I know this isn't the time or place, but there are things you need to know before you marry him. I should have walked away, should have dismissed him as some jealous ex-friend or business rival. But there was something in his eyes, a weight of truth that rooted me to the spot. What things? He slipped a folded note into my hand. Meet me tomorrow night. That address, 8 p.m. Come alone. His voice dropped lower. And don't tell Alex or Abby you saw me. Before I could respond, he melted into the crowd. I clutched the note, my palm sweating against the paper. Who is that? Alex appeared beside me again, his arm sliding possessively around my waist. I shoved the note into my clutch. Just another well-wisher. Getting hard to keep track. He laughed, but his eyes scanned the crowd. As long as they're not boring you with horror stories about marriage. No horror stories. The lie tasted bitter. Everything's perfect, remember? Later that night, after Alex dropped me at my apartment, insisting on maintaining tradition by sleeping apart until the wedding, I finally unfolded Vince's note. The address was for a coffee shop across town. Below it, in sharp, urgent handwriting, your fiancé isn't who you think he is. Neither is your maid of honor. If you want proof, come tomorrow. After that, it's your choice what to do with the truth. My hand shook as I read it again. And again. The peonies I'd brought home suddenly seemed to fill the room with their suffocating sweetness, and I had to open a window just to breathe. My phone buzzed. A text from Abby. Today was amazing. Can't wait to stand beside you at the altar. Love you. Next came one from Alex. Missing you already. 18 days until forever begins. I stared at their messages, these two people I trusted most in the world, while Vince's note burned in my hand like a lit match. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., I'd have to choose. Maintain this perfect illusion, or risk everything to uncover whatever truth that stranger was offering. The peonies continued their silent watch as I paced my apartment, their beauty now seeming more like a warning than a celebration. The coffee shop's neon sign buzzed like an angry hornet as I approached. 7:58 p.m. My heels clicked against the wet pavement, each step an argument with myself about turning back. I'd spent the day dodging calls from Alex and Abby, claiming a migraine. Every text from them made my stomach twist, their concerned words now tainted by suspicion. Was I being paranoid, or had their messages always carried this undertone of surveillance? Vince sat in the furthest corner, nursing what looked like black coffee. His expression hardened when he saw me, like he'd half hoped I wouldn't show. "You came." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Order something first. This conversation requires caffeine." I stayed standing. "I'm not here to get comfortable. Tell me what you know." "Suit yourself." He pulled out his phone, swiping through to find something. "How long have you known Alex?" 2 years. We met at Kenneth's charity gala." "Yeah, I know." He looked up sharply. "Did you ever wonder why Alex was there that night?" The question caught me off guard. He was supporting the cause, children's education in... He was working. Vince turned his phone toward me. "Look familiar?" The photo showed Alex with Kenneth, heads bent together over documents in what looked like a warehouse. The timestamp read 3 months ago. Nothing inherently suspicious except Alex told me he'd never done business with Kenneth, said they were just social friends. The first lie of many. Vince swiped to another photo. "This is from last week." My heart stopped. The image was grainy but clear enough. Alex and Abby, entering a hotel together. Her hand on his arm, his head bent close to hers, intimate in a way that friends shouldn't be. "No." I shook my head. "They're planning my wedding. There's a million innocent reasons. At 11 p.m., in a hotel across town." Vince's voice was gentle, which somehow made it worse. "They've been meeting like this for months. The business with Kenneth, the late nights, the overseas trips, it's all connected." My phone buzzed. "Abby. Haven't heard from you all day. Feeling better? Need anything?" The concern in her message made me want to scream. How many times had she checked on me while hiding this? How many times had she hugged me, helped me pick out wedding details, all while... "Why are you showing me this?" My voice cracked. "What do you want?" "Nothing. I owed Alex once. He betrayed me too. Consider this karmic balance." Vince stood, dropping a USB drive on the table. "Everything's here. Photos, emails, bank statements. What you do with it is your choice." He left me there, staring at the drive like it was a live grenade. Outside, rain started falling again, drumming against the windows. My phone buzzed again. Alex this time. "Missing my beautiful bride. Dinner tomorrow? Have something special planned." I thought about his hands on my waist at the shower, Abby's guilty flicker, all the late meetings and missed calls that I'd dismissed. The signs had been there, written in neon brighter than the coffee shop sign, but I'd been too in love to read them. Walking home, I called the one person I could still trust. "Paige, I need you to look at something. Don't tell Mom. Daria, you sound terrible. What's wrong?" "Everything." I clutched the USB drive tighter. "But I need you to promise me something first." "Anything. If what I'm about to show you is true, help me make them pay, both of them." The silence on the line stretched long enough that I thought she'd hung up. Finally, her voice came back, steel-edged. "I'm on my way." Another text lit up my phone as I reached my apartment. Abby again. "Hey, need to talk about the rehearsal dinner seating. Alex and I were thinking..." I stared at their names together on my screen, bile rising in my throat. My finger hovered over the block button. But no, let them think everything was fine. Let them plan their secret meetings and spin their lies. Because now I had my own plans to make. The USB drive felt heavy in my pocket as I climbed the stairs to my apartment. Whatever truth it held would shatter the life I'd planned, but maybe that life had been built on lies all along. Tomorrow I'd face what Vince had shown me. Tonight I'd let myself mourn what I thought I had. But first, I needed to delete every single peony from my wedding flower list. Paige and I sat cross-legged on my living room floor, surrounded by the evidence from Vince's USB drive. Each new document felt like another knife in my chest. "Look at these credit card statements," Paige said, her voice tight. "Hotel charges every Tuesday for the past 4 months, always the same place. I remembered all those Tuesday night wedding planning sessions Abby had insisted on. "Can't meet any other time," she'd said. "Work's crazy." The memory of her sympathetic smile made me want to throw up. "There's more." Paige handed me her laptop. "These emails between Alex and Kenneth, they're— Daria, it's not just the affair. The messages detailed something bigger. Money movements, offshore accounts, clients who didn't exist. My finance degree might be gathering dust, but I recognized fraud when I saw it. "All this time," I whispered, "I thought he was building a legitimate business." I defended him to Mom when she asked where the money came from. My phone lit up with Abby's face, a selfie we'd taken at her birthday last month, both of us laughing. Best friends since college. I let it ring. "You have to answer eventually," Paige said. "They'll get suspicious." "I know." I grabbed my phone as it started ringing again. "Hey, Abs." "Finally, I've been trying to reach you all day." Her voice was bright, concerned, a perfect performance. "Are you feeling better? Alex and I were just discussing the flower arrangements and—" "Actually," I cut in, surprising myself with how steady I sounded, "I was thinking about changing things up. Maybe we could meet, just us girls, like old times." A pause. Tiny but telling. "Of course. When?" "Tonight? That wine bar we love downtown?" "Oh, tonight's not. I have this work thing." "Please." I injected vulnerability into my voice. "I'm feeling really overwhelmed with everything. Need my best friend." Another pause. I could almost see her calculating, rearranging. "Okay, give me an hour. I'll move some things around." After hanging up, I caught Paige's worried look. "Are you sure about this?" "No." I stood, heading for my closet. But I need to look her in the eyes. Need to know if I can see it now that I know what to look for. The wine bar was quiet for a Wednesday night. I arrived early, choosing a table with a clear view of the entrance. My hands shook as I ordered a glass of red. Abby burst in 15 minutes late, flushed and apologetic. Her hair was slightly mussed, lipstick freshly applied. Tuesday night special, I thought bitterly. Sorry. She hugged me, and I forced myself to hug back. "Traffic was awful, but I'm all yours now." We ordered wine, fell into our usual rhythm. She asked about the migraine, sympathized, seamlessly shifted to wedding talk. I watched her hands as she spoke, the same hands that had helped me pick my dress, that had apparently been touching my fiancé in secret. "Oh," she brightened suddenly. "I almost forgot. Alex mentioned wanting to change the honeymoon date slightly. Something about work commitments. How would you know that?" The words slipped out before I could stop them, sharper than intended. She blinked, recovery almost invisible. "He mentioned it at the shower, remember? When we were discussing schedules." "Right." I smiled, took another sip of wine. My mistake. Her phone buzzed on the table. Alex's name flashed briefly before she flipped it face down. "Need to get that?" I asked. No, probably just work." She waved it off, but her fingers twitched toward the phone. "Now, about those flowers." "Actually," I cut in, "I've been thinking about trust lately. How you never really know someone, you know?" Something flickered in her eyes. Fear? Guilt? "What do you mean?" "Just, people surprise you. Don't they, Abs?" She stared at me for a long moment, and I saw the exact second she registered the ice in my voice. Her smile faltered, recovered. "Daria." She reached for my hand. "Are you sure you're okay? You seem—" I pulled my hand back. "I should go. Early meeting tomorrow." "But we barely—" "It's fine." I stood, dropping cash on the table. "We'll have plenty of time to talk before the wedding, won't we?" Walking home, I let the tears finally fall. But beneath the grief, something else was growing, a cold, hard certainty. I'd given Abby a chance to confess, to show a shred of remorse. She'd chosen to keep lying. My phone buzzed with a text from Alex. "Sweet dreams, beautiful, can't wait to see you tomorrow." I typed back, "Can't wait either, everything's perfect." The lie felt like armor now, not chains. Let them think they had me fooled. The real question was, what was I going to do about it? I hadn't expected to find my mother sitting in my kitchen at 7 a.m., clutching a cup of coffee like a shield. Paige stood by the window, mouthing sorry behind Mom's back. "We need to talk," Mom said, her voice wavering. "Paige told me everything." "Did she?" I shot my sister a look that promised revenge. "And what exactly is everything?" "Enough to know you're planning something reckless." Mom set down her cup. "Honey, I know you're hurt, but don't." The word came out sharp enough to make both of them flinch. "Don't tell me to take the high road. Don't tell me to be the bigger person." I wasn't going to. Something shifted in Mom's expression, a hardness I'd never seen before. "I was going to tell you about your father." The air left the room. Dad had died when I was 12, a heart attack everyone called unexpected. We rarely talked about him. "What about Dad?" "He wasn't faithful either." Mom's hands trembled around her cup. "I found out 6 months before he died. Had my own plans for revenge. But then..." She swallowed hard. "Well, death has a way of making revenge hollow." "Alex isn't dying," I said, but the certainty in my voice wavered. "No, but your relationship with Abby will. Your reputation, if this business fraud comes out. Are you ready to lose everything?" I thought about the evidence on my laptop, the carefully crafted emails I'd drafted to Kenneth's competitors. One click and Alex's whole scheme would unravel. "Maybe I already have lost everything," I said. "Maybe I'm just making it official." My phone buzzed. Alex, right on schedule. "Dinner tonight. Miss you." Mum watched me text back an enthusiastic yes. "You're still seeing him?" Knowledge is power. I smiled, but it felt wrong on my face. And I need all the power I can get. After they left, I called Vince. He answered on the first ring, like he'd been waiting. "I need more," I said. "Not just evidence. I need to understand how deep this goes. Meet me in an hour. Bring your laptop." The cafe was different this time, a busy chain store downtown. Vince sat with his back to the wall, scanning faces like he expected trouble. "Kenneth's getting nervous," he said as I sat down. "Alex missed a payment deadline. Things are unstable." "Good." I opened my laptop, showed him the emails I'd prepared. "How's this for more unstable?" He read quickly, whistling low. "Sending proof of fraud to their competitors? Bold. But you're missing something." He pulled out a thumb drive. "Kenneth's not just Alex's partner. He's Abby's brother." The world tilted sideways. "What?" "Different mothers, different names. They keep it quiet, but that's why she's involved. Family loyalty." Pieces clicked into place. Abby's introduction to Alex at that gala. Her insistence on handling all the wedding finances, the Tuesday night meetings. "She's not just sleeping with him," I said slowly. "She's part of it, all of it." "Smart girl." Vince's smile held no warmth. "Question is, what are you going to do about it?" My phone lit up again. Abby this time. "Emergency. Venue called. Need to discuss options ASAP." I stared at her message, remembering years of friendship, secrets shared, trust given. All of it poisoned now. "If I send these emails," I said, "it hurts everyone. Kenneth, Alex, Abby. That's the point, isn't it?" But Mom's words echoed. "Are you ready to lose everything?" "I need time," I said, standing. "Need to think." "Don't take too long." Vince's eyes were hard. Kenneth's not the only one getting nervous. At home, I found a package by my door, photos from the bridal shower. Inside, dozens of smiling faces caught in moments of joy. Alex kissing my cheek, Abby adjusting my hair with practiced care. All of us glowing under strings of lights and the heavy scent of peonies. My phone buzzed one last time. "Alex, reservation at 8. Wear that blue dress I love." I looked at the photos again, then at my laptop. The email sat ready to send, waiting for one click to detonate everyone's lives, including mine. Mum was right. Revenge might feel hollow. But as I slipped into the blue dress Alex loved, Applying lipstick with steady hands, I realized something else. Sometimes hollow is better than suffocating on other people's lies. I grabbed my keys, leaving the photos scattered across the floor like evidence at a crime scene. Time to see how well Alex and Abby could lie to my face over dinner. The restaurant was Alex's favorite. All dark wood and soft lighting, perfect for hiding secrets. He stood when I arrived, pulling out my chair with practiced charm. The blue dress felt like armor now, each fold concealing my rage. "You look stunning," he said, signaling for wine. "I've missed you. Have you?" I smiled, remembering Tuesday's hotel receipt. "Been busy with work?" "Always." He reached for my hand across the table. "But never too busy for you." The waiter poured wine, recited specials. I watched Alex's face as he ordered for both of us, a habit I'd once found endearing. Now I saw the control in it, the subtle way he directed everything. "Actually," I cut in, "I'll have the salmon." Alex's smile flickered. Tiny, but there. "Of course, whatever you want." My phone buzzed. Abby, right on cue. "How's dinner? Remember to ask about the venue." I turned my phone face down. "Kenneth called today." Alex's hand tightened on his wine glass. "Oh?" "About the wedding investment account." I kept my voice light, curious. "Said something about transfer delays." "Just bureaucracy." He waved it off, but his eyes had changed, sharper, calculating. "Nothing to worry about." That's what Abby said too. His expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air between us. "You talked to Abby about this?" "Of course. She's handling the wedding finances." I sipped my wine. "Unless there's a reason I shouldn't discuss money with her." Before he could answer, a familiar voice cut through the restaurant. "Alex, what a surprise." Kenneth strode toward us, perfectly tailored suit failing to hide his tension. Behind him, Abby followed like a shadow, face draining of color when she saw me. "Kenneth, Abby." Alex stood too quickly. "What brings you here?" "Business dinner," Kenneth said, but his eyes darted between us. "Sorry to interrupt your evening." "Join us," I said, watching all three of them freeze. "There's plenty of room." "Oh, we couldn't," Abby started. "I insist." I pulled out the chair beside me. "After all, we're practically family, aren't we?" The word landed like a grenade. Kenneth's smile vanished. Abby gripped her purse so hard her knuckles went white. "What do you mean?" Alex's voice was carefully neutral. "Just that we're all so close." I turned to Kenneth. "How long have you known Abby?" "Since childhood, maybe." The silence stretched like a wire about to snap. Then Kenneth laughed too loud. "Come on, sis," he said to Abby. "Let's not intrude on their date." But the damage was done. Alex's face hardened as he looked between them. Abby seemed to shrink under his glare. "Sis?" I echoed. Funny, in 2 years, nobody mentioned that connection. "Daria..." Abby reached for me, but I stood, letting my napkin fall. "No." The word came out quiet but sharp. No more lies, no more Tuesday night wedding planning, no more pretending. "What are you talking about?" Alex grabbed my arm. "You're making a scene." I yanked free. "Am I, or are you finally seeing one?" Around us, other diners were starting to stare. Kenneth moved first, pulling out his phone. "We should discuss this privately," he said. "I'm calling a car." "Don't bother." I grabbed my purse. "I have everything I need." "What does that mean?" Alex's voice had lost its charm completely. I looked at each of them. Alex's controlled anger, Kenneth's calculated concern, Abby's genuine fear, my best friend, my fiancé, my would-be brother-in-law. All wrapped in lies so thick they were choking on them. It means I know everything. I pulled out my phone, held it up. And so will everyone else, unless we have a very different kind of conversation tomorrow. "You're bluffing," Kenneth said, but his face had gone pale. "Am I?" I smiled, feeling powerful for the first time in days. "Check your email in an hour, all of you. Then we'll see who's bluffing." I walked out into the night air, their stunned silence behind me. My hands shook as I called a ride. adrenaline making everything sharp and bright. My phone exploded with notifications. Alex, Abby, Kenneth, all demanding answers. I ignored them, opening my laptop as soon as I got home. The emails were still there, waiting. One click to destroy everything they'd built. One click to get my revenge. But first, I had a different message to send. Mum, you were right, I need your help. Mum's kitchen smelled like coffee and cinnamon, just like it had every crisis of my childhood. Dawn light filtered through lace curtains as she laid out her own evidence. Bank statements, letters, photos I'd never seen. Your father's mistress worked at his firm, she said, spreading documents across the table. Like him, she had access to client accounts. Like him, she got greedy. What did you do? I wrapped my hands around my coffee mug, seeking warmth. I was going to expose everything. Had the proof ready, just like you. She pulled out a sealed envelope, yellowed with age. Then he died, and I realized something. Revenge wouldn't give me back what I'd lost. My phone buzzed for the 100th time since last night. Alex, we need to talk. Please, I can explain everything. They're scared, I said, showing Mom the message. Good. Scared people are dangerous people. She touched the old envelope. Your father's partner killed himself when the fraud investigation started. His family lost everything. Before I could respond, the doorbell rang. Through the front window, I saw Abby on the porch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Don't, Mum warned, but I was already moving. Abby's eyes were red-rimmed, mascara smudged. Your mum's car was here. I took a chance. 5 minutes, I said, stepping aside. She walked into the kitchen like a ghost of herself. Mom stood, gathering her documents. I'll give you space, she said, but squeezed my shoulder as she passed. Stay strong. Kenneth's not sleeping, Abby blurted once we were alone. Alex is drinking. Everything's falling apart. Funny how consequences work. Please, Daria. She reached for me, then thought better of it. It wasn't supposed to be like this. At first, it was just helping my brother with some paperwork. Then Alex needed someone to confide in. While he was engaged to me. I never meant to fall in love with him. The words exploded out of her. God, do you think I wanted this? To betray my best friend? To watch him propose to you while... She stopped, horror crossing her face. While what? My voice was ice. While you were sleeping with him? While you were both stealing money? It's more complicated than that. She pulled out her phone, hands shaking. Look. The screen showed messages between her and Kenneth. Threats, warnings, demands for her cooperation. He's my brother, she whispered, but he's not a good man. And Alex isn't who either of us thought he was. My phone buzzed again. Vince, Kenneth's making moves. Watch your back. Why are you showing me this now? I asked Abby. Because I'm scared. Her voice cracked. Not just of losing you. Kenneth's talking about handling the situation. Alex keeps saying he'll fix things. A chill ran through me. What does that mean? I don't know, but... She swallowed hard. Remember Lisa from Kenneth's office? The one who threatened to expose their trading scheme last year? The one who had that mental breakdown? That's what they told everyone. Abby's eyes met mine. She didn't break down, Daria. They broke her. Mom's words echoed. Scared people are dangerous people. My phone lit up again. Alex. Final chance to talk. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I have to go, Abby stood suddenly. I've said too much. Just be careful, please. After she left, Mom came back in. Well, I think... I stared at my phone, at Alex's threat thinly veiled as concern. I think this just got a lot bigger than revenge. What are you going to do? I opened my laptop, pulled up the emails I'd prepared, but instead of sending them, I started a new message to Vince. I need everything you have on Kenneth, I typed, not just the fraud, everything. And I need to know what really happened to Lisa. Mom read over my shoulder. You're not backing down. No. I hit send, then turned to her. But I'm not just getting revenge anymore. I'm getting justice. My phone buzzed one final time. Kenneth, Let's discuss terms. Tomorrow, my office, 9 a.m. Come alone. I showed Mum the message. She gripped my hand tight. I'll call Paige, she said. If you're doing this, you're not doing it alone. Outside, storm clouds gathered, dark and heavy with promise. Tomorrow would change everything. I just had to survive it first. Kenneth's office building loomed against the stormy morning sky, all glass and steel and secrets. My heels echoed in the marble lobby as I checked my phone one last time. Paige. In position, Mum's with me, be careful. Vince. Documents delivered. Good luck. Abby. Please don't do this. The elevator ride to the 32nd floor felt like ascending to my own execution, but in my bag, I carried enough evidence to destroy them all, and one final surprise they'd never see coming. Kenneth's secretary waved me straight in. Through the glass walls, I saw them waiting. Kenneth behind his desk, Alex pacing by the window, Abby perched nervously on a leather chair. Daria. Kenneth stood, all corporate charm. Thank you for coming. Shall we discuss terms? Let's. I sat down, crossing my legs carefully. Though I'm surprised you're all here. Didn't think you'd be so unified. Alex stopped pacing. We're trying to handle this reasonably. Reasonably? I pulled out my laptop. Like you handled Lisa? The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. Kenneth's smile turned brittle. I'm not sure what Abby's told you. Nothing. I met Abby's wide eyes, but Lisa did, yesterday. Alex grabbed the back of a chair. That's impossible. Is it? I opened my laptop, turned it toward them. She's been gathering evidence since you forced her out, waiting, building her case. She had a breakdown, Kenneth snapped. Everyone knows what you told them. I pressed play on the video conference window. Hello, Lisa. Right on time. The screen lit up with Lisa's face, calm and clear-eyed. Behind me, Abby made a small, choked sound. Hello, Kenneth. Lisa's voice filled the room. Miss me? Kenneth lunged for my laptop, but I was faster. Touch it and the live stream goes public. We're already recording. You're bluffing, Alex said, but sweat beaded on his forehead. Like you bluffed about loving me? I stood slowly. Like you bluffed about the client accounts? The offshore transfers? The threats? Daria, please. Abby stepped forward. You don't understand what's at stake. I understand perfectly. I pulled out my phone, showed them the screen. The FBI understands too. They're very interested in Lisa's evidence, and mine. Kenneth's face went from red to white. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I moved toward the door. In about 30 seconds, every major financial publication will receive proof of your fraud. Unless what? Alex's voice cracked. Unless you confess. All of you. Right now, on record. I gestured to the laptop. Lisa's not the only one listening. The silence stretched like a wire about to snap. Then Abby started crying. I'll tell them everything, she whispered. Kenny, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. Shut up, Kenneth snarled, but it was too late. The words poured out of her. The fraud, the threats, Lisa's forced departure, all of it. Alex tried to interrupt, but Kenneth's rage had already broken the dam. You stupid little... He grabbed Abby's arm. The office door burst open. Paige entered first, followed by 2 FBI agents. Mom stood in the doorway, phone raised, still recording. Kenneth Harding? One agent stepped forward. We have some questions. What happened next blurred together. Kenneth's attempt to delete files, Alex's failed escape to the stairwell, Abby's quiet surrender. Through it all, I stood watching, feeling strangely empty. You okay? Mum appeared beside me as they led Kenneth away in handcuffs. I don't know. I watched Alex being read his rights, his eyes pleading with me. I thought this would feel better. Revenge never does. She squeezed my hand. But justice helps us heal. Abby paused as they led her out, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered, for everything. I couldn't speak, could barely breathe. Years of friendship, love, trust, all destroyed by greed and lies. Lisa's voice came from the forgotten laptop. "Thank you, Daria. You did what I couldn't." Outside, the storm finally broke. Rain lashed against the windows as federal agents seized computers and files. My wedding was destroyed, my relationship shattered, my best friend headed to jail. But as I stood in that office, watching it all fall apart, I felt something unexpected. Freedom. The truth, as painful as it was, had set me free. "Let's go home," Mom said softly. I took one last look at the chaos we'd created. "Yes," I said, "let's go home." The peonies were blooming again when I finally opened the box of wedding things. Their scent drifted through my open window as I sorted through cancelled contracts and unused invitations. "Need help?" Paige lounged in my doorway, watching me excavate memories. "Almost done." I lifted out my engagement ring, still in its velvet box. "The jeweler's meeting me today to appraise it. You could keep it, as a reminder." "Of what? Being fooled?" I snapped the box shut. I have enough reminders. The morning paper lay on my coffee table, headlines still screaming about the scandal. Kenneth had taken a plea deal, dragging Alex down with him. Abby's testimony had sealed their fate. The financial world loved nothing more than a good implosion. My phone buzzed, a text from Lisa. "Coffee later, have something to show you." "Go," Paige said, reading over my shoulder. "I'll finish here." The cafe was quiet, sunlight streaming through windows still speckled with yesterday's rain. Lisa looked different than she had on the video call. Softer somehow, but stronger too. "Thank you for meeting me." She slid a folder across the table. "I thought you should see this first." Inside were photos, dozens of them. Women at different companies, all with similar stories, all silenced by Kenneth and his network. "There are more coming forward," Lisa said. "Your case broke it open. They're not afraid anymore." I stared at their faces, seeing my own story reflected back. "Why show me this?" "Because I'm starting a foundation, supporting whistleblowers, providing legal aid." She paused. "I want you to help run it." The offer hung between us like a lifeline I hadn't known I needed. I'm not qualified." "You're exactly qualified." Lisa's eyes were fierce. "You took them down not for revenge but for justice. That's what we need." My phone buzzed again. Mom, reminding me about the jeweler. "Can I think about it?" "Of course." Lisa stood, squeezing my shoulder. "But remember, sometimes the best way to heal is to help others heal too." The jewelry store was empty, except for an elderly appraiser who examined my ring with careful hands. "Beautiful piece," he murmured. "Shame to sell it." "Not really." I watched him work. "It was never real anyway." "Oh, the ring is real enough." He adjusted his loop. "But symbols only have the meaning we give them." I thought about Lisa's offer, about all those women in the photos, about how revenge hadn't filled the void, but maybe purpose could. My phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. Abby, writing from jail. "I know you'll never forgive me, but thank you for forcing me to face the truth. I'm finally free too." I deleted the message without responding. Some bridges stay burned. The appraiser named a price, enough to fund a fresh start, enough to help others start fresh too. "I'll take it," I said. Walking home, I passed the wine bar where I'd first seen through Abby's lies. Through the window, I watched other friends sharing secrets, making promises. Some would be kept, some would shatter like glass. Paige had finished with the wedding box, everything sorted into neat piles. Keep, donate, destroy. On top lay a single peony, probably fallen from the bush outside. "Found this," she said, holding up a framed photo from the bridal shower. "Thought you might want to keep it, as a reminder." "Of what?" "Of how strong you are, how far you've come." I took the photo, studying those frozen smiles. The woman in the picture looked happy, innocent, blind to the betrayal surrounding her. But she wasn't weak. She was just waiting to discover her own power. My phone buzzed one last time. "Lisa." No pressure, but the foundation needs a name. Any ideas? I looked at the peony on the box, at its deceptively delicate petals hiding an iron core, at how it bloomed despite the storm, despite everything. Call it Phoenix Rising, I typed back, for all the women who burned their old lives to build better ones. I set the photo in the donate pile and picked up the peony. Its sweet scent no longer suffocated. It reminded me that beautiful things can grow from ashes. Sometimes you have to burn it all down to find out who you really are.